The Acolyte was bad. Shocker. Who could have guessed that from a show created by someone whose greatest moment in her career has been luring victims to Harvey Weinstein's bedroom? What an unpredictable conclusion to come to. Anyways, the title of the video, the lightsaber Kyber crystal bleeding scene. It's dumb. Let's go over it. Osha, after hearing that Saul killed her mother, kills him, gets his lightsaber and turns it red, and then apparently her wanting to kill him was enough to change her entire personality and moral code and turn her 1000% Sith. I'm sure that this was all well established and set up in the previous episodes and wasn't just randomly thrown in to look cool. Oh wait, sorry, it was. For a start, lightsabers aren't mood rings. They don't just change from blue to red just because you feel a little angry in the moment. Oh, but look how cool it looks. If pretty lights are enough to distract you from dumb writing, then I applaud your effort to not give a shit about quality control. But cheap ignorance is your problem, not mine. You can have thematic moments in a story while also having them be well written. All this scene did is make me question why Anakin and Krell's lightsabers didn't change during their much more elaborate and built up turns to darkness in their prospective appearances. Oh, but lightsaber bleeding didn't exist yet, you know, that's why they didn't do it in Revenge of the Sith and the Clone Wars. Completely irrelevant. Out-of-universe reasonings should have no effect on in-universe reasonings. If being angry and hateful and sad in the moment is enough to turn a crystal red, then that should have happened in Revenge of the Sith, because that's clearly how it works in-universe. Secondly, bleeding a crystal isn't an instantaneous process. It requires the person to focus all their grief, hate, rage, envy, jealousy, sadness, all of it, and pour it all into this crystal, basically breaking the soul of the crystal and turning it red. You don't just pick it up and it turns red. But Lumar, her hand was touching the crystal, so she had direct contact to pour her emotions into it. Please explain to me how physical contact has anything to do with the Force. The Force is the Force. Physical touch and strength has nothing to do with it. Yoda didn't need to physically touch the X-Wing to lift it up, because that's not how the Force works. It's a purely spiritual thing. So her hand was touching it is such a non-argument. And also actually, yeah, her hand was touching it. The crystal that turns into a giant rock of burning plasma the moment the lightsaber is activated. So thank you all for pointing out that she should have burnt her hand off in this scene. Remember when Kylo Ren's lightsaber had holes in the side of it, allowing the crystal plasma to spill out of there as well? Surely that should have been happening here as well, right? But no, I guess Osha is plasma proof. Who needs cortosis when you have this weird witch energy? Thirdly, I just have zero evidence for why Osha would be able to do this in the first place. The only other times I've seen lightsaber bleeding has been in the Darth Vader comic and the Jedi Survivor game, and in both of those instances, these very powerful, very experienced, very hateful people took a decent chunk of time to bleed their crystals. Forgive me if I think this young girl with very limited experience and training, who has only really felt anger in this moment, shouldn't be able to immediately bleed this crystal and become a Sith Lord. Overall, very dumb scene, and it's a shame actually because I wish we got to see more stuff like this more often. I quite enjoy the concept of Kyber crystal bleeding, and you'd think a show about the Sith would be the perfect way to explain how this works. How a Sith fuels all their negative emotions to break the living rock and descend further into darkness. And seeing that fully explored on screen would have been really cool. Instead, we got the Jedi being useless, bland characters, the story where most of it is left off screen until the very end where it makes you ask more questions, some cunt hiding in a cave to jangle keys in the desperate hope that you don't think about any of the stuff that happened in the show, and lightsabers suddenly becoming mood rings. Thanks for watching, lads and lasses. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing and checking out some of my other videos. Sharing always helps, and if you're feeling really generous, please consider my Patreon or YouTube membership. I also have a Twitter and occasionally I do live streams. But most of all, I just hope you had a great day and hopefully I will see you in the next video.